Welcome to this new video on YouTube where you're gonna learn about how to become a servant leader and what is important to become a good and strong, powerful, however you wanna call it, leader. I was asked by the community to talk about this topic, how to become a good leader, and I strive to become and be a good leader every day. So before we start, I wanna quote, or basically I want you to show a snippet, a small part of a video that I stumbled across from Jordan Peterson and Hamza Yusuf. It was about what we can all learn from Islam. And there's one specific, very important, beautiful part from Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is someone that I call my mentor personally, someone that I learned a lot from. He wrote the book 12 Rules for Life, a beautiful and powerful book. And I will just play it right now and then we talk about the topic.
If I had to choose, let's say, if I had to choose the leader of a country, let's say an arbitrarily powerful leader, it seems to me that it would be a better choice for me to select someone who believes that he's beholden to something above and beyond himself than to choose someone who doesn't have that belief at all.
Right.
And that seems to me, regardless of what you might say philosophically or even scientifically about the utility of religious belief or the validity of religious belief, the notion that you could be the leader of a powerful country and not be serving something that wasn't only you seems to be a real problem with let's say, a stringently atheistic philosophy, because, well, why wouldn't you just serve you in a position like that?
So Jordan Peterson says he would rather choose a leader that thinks that there's something bigger than himself. He believes in a higher power, in a God, whatever you want to call it, to become or to be a better leader. And he would choose someone instead, like someone that believes in something bigger than someone that thinks he's the only one. And I think that is the answer to how to become a good leader and a servant leader and a humble leader and a leader that really becomes not only successful, because the metrics of only saying a leader is successful can be done and said by money, but I don't believe that, and by success only, but I also believe by his moral and ethics, how he builds his business, how he leads his crowd. However, especially in our business, in network marketing or any other business, I truly believe, and I myself always believed in something bigger than myself, and that always humbled me. So let's do this more practical. Let's say, for example, you are a leader of a network marketing community or of a crowd, sales team, a company, a movement, a belief, whatever it is at the end of the day, right? You can apply that to all of them. But if you are a leader that believes in something bigger, in God, in his community, in whatever it is. So for me, for example, I truly believe, and I always believe, that above me as a leader, I serve a purpose. And the purpose is the TPR. TPR is my community, our community. I am the founder of the Trading People Revolution. So I would say number one is God, number two is TPR, number three is family, and then I see number four is me. Let's say it like that. So the first thing is always God. Second thing is the TPR. So I would even put the TPR, my community, somewhere on top one with God, right? Now that sounds crazy for some of you, but that always made me, I believe, a powerful leader. And if you want to obtain the same skill and be a powerful leader, I believe you always have to have something above yourself. You have to have a higher purpose. You have to believe in higher energy. Why? Because number one, it humbles you. Second of all, it gives you purpose. Number three, it frees you from your ego, right? Because ego means edging God out, which proves again that if you believe in a higher thing and a higher purpose, you will lead differently. The power behind that, from real life experience for me, is that I can go further and beyond my personal feelings and my personal greed and my personal success if I don't believe that I am the number one, that it's all about me, that I am the leader, but there's someone above me, such as the TPR, our community. So I always did things that I normally would not do because I was scared of, or I didn't want to do it, or because I was tired, or there are numerous and countless things that I did in the past because I did not want to do it personally, but since I did not see myself that it's about me, but about a higher purpose, the TPR, our community, to inspire and impact the people, I did a lot of things that helped me to push beyond my person, my ego, just to be a strong leader for my community and for God. So I am always humbled, right? I never forget where I come from, and that's very important when you want to become a powerful and strong leader. Number two is that if you believe in something higher and bigger, you will always act differently. You can put your ego aside, right? Again, edging God out. You're putting something above yourself. And then also, I truly believe that you will be stronger as a person, your personality, your skills, what you do and what you say and how you do it, and you will just have more power if you put yourself second below the higher purpose. So my higher purpose is to impact with the TPR a lot of people. It is to lead the largest trading community in the world. So I will always go beyond my ego, beyond my personal will, beyond my personal capabilities to push. I will give you a little example. There was a time, now I'm a very big fan of flying in airplanes, okay? Some of you guys cannot relate, some of you guys think this is idiotic. I also thought that this will never happen to me, but I flew many times in my life. I love flying. I'm a big fan. But there was once a time where I flew from Latvia back to Germany, business purpose, and we caught bad turbulence and the plane just dropped. After that, since I'm a big control freak, right, I got completely scared and mad about flying. I was so scared, guys. My brain was playing tricks with me. I didn't want to go on an airplane. I was getting nervous 2 or 3 days before I was flying, or basically when I booked the flight. And understand, I really love flying. I always loved it. I always had a lot of respect for it. But at the same time, after this, I was so scared. Really, really scared. But, and that's why I'm telling you the story, I still took these planes and I still flew to the destination because of the higher purpose, because it was not about me. And that's when I felt deeply for the first time that if it would be out of my personal purpose, saying let's fly to a vacation place, let's go there to visit someone, let's do this because I want to go there, I would have never done it after this experience. But since I always did and put something above myself that is bigger than me, I could, and I did put my ego aside, I put my personal scarcity mindset and anxiety beside and pushed through it just because I had the belief in something bigger. And I said, and that's for the first time where I also, and that's maybe a little bit too hard and too deep for you today, but I, at that time, defined for myself that I would die for a higher purpose. I would die for the TPR. Now, this sounds maybe a lot of like really crazy for you guys, like, you know, airplane and being scared. Like, you don't understand the level of how scared and anxious I was at that time. But I still did it. I still remember I sat in the plane when I flew to Dubai, you know, when we had like the team meeting, the incentive, I put a hoodie so I didn't see anything. I completely blacked out all my senses, so I tricked my mind that I'm not on a flight, AirPods in, my hoodie over my eyes, and just like a blanket over myself, and I just flew 6 hours, and I was scared as shit all the time that we're gonna crash. Now, what I did afterwards, right, number one was definitely to, you know, to believe that there's something bigger than myself, TPR, and I would push forever and do whatever I need to do to make this happen. And I would be happily, like, that's maybe also a little bit too crazy, but maybe you understand what I mean. I would definitely die for it. Like, I put myself in a position, I said, I would die for my higher belief, for my higher purpose, for what we do here. And that made me so powerful and strong. Now, the other side is that you believe that you are the number one, that you are full of ego. And I don't say that you don't believe, like, I have a high ego and I believe in myself. But understand that if you are the only person you are doing this for, you don't have a higher belief, you don't believe in God or a higher energy, a higher purpose of what you do, then I believe that you will not go as far as and beyond as if there's something above you, as already stated and told and explained, and I gave you a story about it, and there are many more stories. But I believe if you do it only for yourself, the probability of you lying down your moral and ethics to decide for yourself and decide for money will turn out, or will be like, or it will turn out like most of the leaders are these days and in the past. And these are leaders that are tyrannical, leaders that only think about themselves, leaders that take from other people to be in a better position, leaders that will always decide for the ego. They will always edge God out or the higher purpose. And that's why you can never become a servant leader if there's nothing above you. Now, whatever it is, if it's your family, if it's God, if it's your community, it will give you an undefined power. And that's why you see like leaders that don't focus on their soul, like on their own purpose, the egoistical purpose of getting rich and getting resources and being the number one, right? And leaders that have a higher purpose, that believe in their religion, that believe in their country. I have two very good examples for that. Now, I have visited Lebanon a couple of weeks ago, right? And I live in the UAE, especially I live in Dubai, right? And Dubai is a city, an emirate in the UAE that showed the world that if you have a higher purpose, if the leaders have a higher purpose of serving their people, they can create a beautiful, safe, successful, innovative environment where people can live in. At the same time, in Lebanon, and maybe you have to, learn a little bit about Lebanon, but Lebanon showed me that a country where a lot of different parties, democracy, but also a lot of different parties that the only focus for them is to represent their community, represent their religion, represent their interest, led to a country to completely fall apart. Now, Lebanon in the past was a very striving, successful country. But since they had different parts in the government where there are basically, I think, 16 different representatives for the community, religion, whatever. So Christian, Muslim, then you have this and this and this and this, right? There's so many different parts. And since they all came together, the only thing that one part of the leader focuses on is himself and his community and not the country, not a higher purpose. And that led to a country to basically become, or basically be in a very bad position. Now, if you check Lebanon, for example, today, the currency is devaluated, the structure is confusing. There's, everyone just looks at their community and what they represent, but they don't come together to make and to push the country, right? The country and the above purpose, the higher purpose is not there anymore because everyone just focuses on themselves. And that for me is a beautiful example. And I don't mean to talk bad about any country, right? It's just my personal observation by traveling and being someone that analyzes and being a student of life and learning a lot about leadership, because my goal every day is to be the best leader for my community and to become the best version of myself. And I know by believing in God, a higher energy in your community, you humble yourself, you give yourself way more purpose, you will be more powerful, and most likely you will be a way better leader. And there are so many examples out there. So if you want to become a strong and powerful and servant leader, you have to serve someone. Because if you want people to follow you, you have to have someone that you follow.